Welcome back to the Linc Lineup. This is episode 11, the Carson Wentz episode. Um, this is Friday, September 15th, just after the day after the Eagles beat the Vikings on Thursday Night Football, 34-28. Eagles moved to 2-0. Vikings dropped to 0-2. There's lots to talk about this game. It seems like once again, we're split as a fan base on how to feel, and hopefully, we can, or at least I can, because I know how Bryce feels. I can provide like a voice of reason. Josh, I feel like, is indifferent from the brief conversations we've had before we started recording. So I'll be the voice of reason. I'll make you feel a little more optimistic about the season going forward. Eagles win. The score was close, but I feel like the game wasn't that close in terms of, I guess, like the feel of the game. It seems like the Eagles were always in the driver's seat. And I really wasn't on the edge of my seat. So while it was a 6-point game, it didn't feel like a 6-point game. As most of you are well aware, the offense was kind of bad in the first half. Up until that one drive in the second quarter, which we'll get to because we're going to talk a lot of DeAndre Swift here. But yeah, the offense, didn't look like the offense of last year, and then all of a sudden we started running the ball, and it looked like the 2021 season. We were just led the league in rushing, and we just pounded the ball, and it was beautiful. But let's get to it. We'll talk about the offense first, since I already brought it up. Brian Johnson is a hot topic amongst this community, and I think he'll be a hot topic for the rest of the season, to be honest with you. I'll give him credit with this. He, instead of continuing to try to, make the big plays and make Jalen run, because everybody was tired of Jalen running. Those quarterback powers, quarterback counters, just not it. Fans got tired of it. They booed. They booed the hell out of the Eagles. But he adjusted. He definitely adjusted. They finally gave DeAndre Swift the ball, and they're like, this guy can run. Look at him. Look at this. And that was the story of the game. It was DeAndre Swift and the run game carried the Eagles to victory. A couple of, shot plays there to Devontae Smith, which one of them turned into a touchdown. One of them could have been a touchdown. But yeah. So let's talk about it. Bryce, give me your initial reaction to the Eagles offense from last night, and just let the listeners know how you feel.
So coming into this game, I was expecting a lot more passes downfield. Didn't really turn into that. But I got to give credit to the Vikings defense when it came to taking away chunk plays and shots over top. It looks like it felt like they were, because obviously we couldn't see it from the initial broadcast, but felt like they were dropping everybody in coverage. Jalen didn't really have nowhere to throw. You saw a couple times where Jalen was like anticipating throwing, like he was ready to launch it, and he second guessed. But the play calling offensively, I did not like the first quarter and mainly the first half. You hit it pretty much on the head, Chase. This quarterback power stuff, this quarterback run, this ain't college, Brian Johnson, and you ain't got Emory Jones and Anthony Richardson like you had when you were in Florida. That needs to get out of the playbook immediately. That and some of these wide receiver like bubble screens, stuff like that. I don't ever see them working. Every time we've tried to run them, they don't work. I think the offensive line played really well in this game. But the first week, I think a lot of that, a lot of the stuff with Jalen, um, kind of faulted the offensive line to that, but they played well this game. There's just, I don't know. There's some games where the run is way more effective than passing, and that was just one of these games. Um, I think Brian Johnson adjusted well when he started to realize that passing the ball is not going to win you this game. Let's just bully them and run this ball down their throat. So I thought that was good. Uh, like you said, some shots plays here and there, but it was mainly a running game.
Yeah. And so, looking back at the game and then even the Patriots game, the Vikings didn't dial up a lot of blitz, but I feel like whenever they did, um, for the most part, the Eagles weren't super prepared for it. I'll never understand why. In the years past, if they bring six and that you can tell they're bringing six, instead of I don't know having the running back, block, they're like, hey, Jalen, make the guy miss. It's hard to make the guy miss, especially whenever the guy coming free is either the super athletic, fast D end or this, a cornerback who is just as fast, if not faster than Jalen is, probably faster. Um, so, that's something that I feel like most of us are tired of. The play calling, Brian Johnson's just not getting the Eagles in like a rhythm. I feel like, and Jalen played bad. We could say it. Jalen Hurts played. I wouldn't say bad. Bad first half. He kind of figured it out a little bit in the second half, but he's not the Jalen that we saw in the Super Bowl or at any point last year. And I do think that is more so on Brian Johnson and not getting the offense kind of in rhythm than it is Jalen just not being that guy. So, hopefully this 10-day span, I this is where you make the big changes and you kind of look in the mirror and you're like, all right, what do we got to do to fix this? And then you start implementing some things to try and fix it. Next week we have, I would say, a weaker opponent in the Bucks. So, another perfect opportunity to try something and try to start a rhythm. And Josh, what is your initial reaction to the offense from last night's game?
Yeah, especially in the first half, it seemed like we were just out game planned. It seems like we came out expecting to throw the ball a lot, and the Vikings seemed like they were dropping like 8 guys in coverage at times. I do like how we adjusted in the second half, but like you guys said, I would like to see designed runs for Jalen. I think it's one thing when he has to get out of the pocket and extend the play, but like you said, I mean this isn't college. He's our franchise quarterback. I feel like we should try to keep his runs to a minimum if we can. Excuse me. I mean overall, first half I was definitely disappointed with how he was playing. He had that one pick where it felt like he just kind of underthrew. I think it was Devontae Smith. But I mean, overall, he was 18 for 23. Only less than 200 yards, but it didn't seem like he was missing open receivers. It seemed like the looks weren't there, and it was kind of a game plan, like more of the fault of the game plan than him. So I mean, I'm optimistic overall. I'm glad we won. It's nice to be 2-0 and know that we have a lot more potential than we've shown. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it was as bad as it felt at the time. And like you said, even though it was only a 6-point win, it never felt like it was that close.
Yeah, and you bring up a great point. We're playing bad, and you look all around this offense. We still have the best offensive line in football. We have one of the top receiving duos in football. Dallas Goedert is still at least a top 5 tight end. I don't know what's going on there. I feel like that is also kind of like a scheme thing. And then the emergence of DeAndre Swift, who we're going to talk about next, in his homecoming game showed that there shouldn't be this running back by committee that they try to implement in the first game, even though that wasn't even running back by committee because it was Kenneth Gainwell's spot. But I mean, 28 carries, 175 yards, 1 touchdown. Should have had 3 touchdowns, let's be honest. But he got his touchdown finally, thank God. Yeah. But before we kind of take our deep dive into DeAndre Swift, I do want to bring up another player who was also great in his brief appearance in the game. Boston Scott had 5 carries for 40 yards. That's 8 a pop, That's great. That's great. He is Boston Scott's a fan favorite. I love him to death. He looks plays like Darren Sproles, and I love Darren Sproles. Everybody loves like a nice little underdog story, and being the smallest guy out there and watching him just run hard, it's fun to watch every time, and it's somebody that you can definitely get behind. And then there's one more player I want to bring up, and then we can talk about DeAndre Swift and how much we love him and how much we think he's the best running back in the game. Rashad Penny. We're going to talk about him very briefly. I was a big Rashad Penny believer in the preseason. I defended him any chance I could because maybe he was kind of hesitant to really show his burst because his injury was tough. It was tough to come back from. It probably doesn't feel great to have that in the back of your mind as you're playing. But man, he does not look like he has any type of juice whatsoever. And I can see him getting cut in the very near future. What did he have? He had like 4 carries for like 10 yards or something like that. It was not good.
3 for 9.
3 for 9. Yeah, 3 for 9. That's not good. That's not good.
I need 1 catch for 5. So that's also not good.
Not good. Yeah, not good. Especially whenever you got DeAndre Swift and Boston Scott just going off. Why aren't you? So I defended him. I can't defend him any longer. I know he got just a brief chance to show what he can do, and maybe, just maybe, next time it'll be better. But for now, I can't. And if he didn't play in this game and we cut him next week, he'd be right up there with Frank Gore in the rafters, baby. That jersey's going to be up there forever. But yeah, let's get into it. DeAndre Swift, like I said, 28 carries, 175. I didn't think he was going to be that good at any point in the season.
What's that average out to?
Math here. It's like 4. It's like 4, right? 28, 56.
6.2.
My math is bad. 6.2 yards per carry. That is good.
That's good. That's real good.
Very good. Yeah, it's certainly good. Yeah, he just I know people on Twitter this morning and even some of the beat reporters podcasts I was listening to, they're like comparing him to LaShawn McCoy. And at first, when I listened to it this morning, I was like, nah. I was like, not really. Like LaShawn McCoy was the most entertaining thing to watch at some points in my life. That snow game against Detroit, I'll never forget where I was and like what happened in that game, because that was an awesome game to watch. But then I thought about it as the day went on, and I was like, you know what? I can see it. The way, and then like I just remember watching last night, and the way he would like wait and then hit the hole whenever it was there was awesome. It kind of reminded me of like all the memes whenever Le'Veon Bell was doing his thing in Pittsburgh, where he would just chop behind the line and then hit the hole. It was almost like that, but obviously a little bit faster. But yeah, man, what a performance back in Philly.
He runs aggressively, man.
He does.
He runs very aggressive, and he made it out of some spots where I was like, "Oh, he's getting tackled here." No, dude. Like it was wild to watch, bro. I even texted you a couple times during the game, Chase. I'm like, how the fuck did he not get tackled right there, dude? I was like, that don't make no. I was like, how does he get out of that? I don't know, man. He's really elusive.
Yeah, and I think the thing that I realize now is he, I didn't picture him as like a power back, and he's not a power back. That's not what he is. But he runs with power, and so there was times where during a play he'd get hit, like 1 yard into it, but he would carry them 4 or 5 yards and get that 6. That's still 6 yards. That's impressive. And I can't wait to see what he does this whole season, especially if they stop feeding Kenny Gainwell the ball. I don't know who I was listening to. I don't know who it was, what it was, but Kenneth Gainwell does the least with the most opportunities. He is a very solid player, but he is not doing anything with the ball when he has it. He will get the bare minimum. Where I feel like DeAndre Swift exceeded expectations, and if it looked like it was going to be a 2-yard gain, he got 5, 6. Honestly, that jersey might be the next purchase I get, especially if he stays healthy and he goes crazy for the rest of the year. Josh, I want to hear your opinion on DeAndre Swift. Do you think we completely fleeced the Lions? Which I think the answer is yes. Just tell me what you thought.
Yeah, I mean, I think we absolutely fleeced the Lions. I mean, I know he's only got a year left on his deal, and it's kind of sad because if he keeps this up, I don't think we're going to be able to keep him next year. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to say I obviously didn't expect 175-yard game out of the gate or second game.
Crazy.
But
that is crazy.
It is crazy. But I definitely had high expectations for him. I definitely think I probably expected more out of him than most. But yeah, I mean, he's looked fantastic. I think he's my favorite. I'd say he's probably my favorite Eagles running back to watch since. I don't know, I really like LeGarrette Blount. So I'd probably say LeGarrette Blount, but
nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. But
that dude's a fucking tank.
Well,
yeah, I mean, I think he's a perfect fit. I think he, he's running rampant behind our O-line, and yeah, I think he's gonna have a, excuse me, I think he's gonna really have a monster year. I'm kind of surprised that we're not throwing the ball to him yet much. I don't remember what he did against the Patriots, but I know he had no reception. Oh no, he had 3 receptions last night for 6 yards. But I figured he'd be more of a factor in the passing game than he's been. But I mean, when you're running the ball the way he was, why change it?
I'll
go ahead
real quick. I understand a lot of the DeAndre Swift praise. I thought the dude was incredible last
Are you
night.
going to rain on our parade?
No, absolutely not.
Because that sounds like what you're doing.
No, I'm not.
So he set us up to rain on the parade.
No. I promise I'm not. I'm not raining on the parade. I'm just giving the light to some other people. But the offensive line played incredible last night. Like from some of the different camera angles where they were showing the holes that he was running through, dude, you could literally drive a truck through those holes, man. Like Jordan Mailata, he played outstanding. Him and Landon Dickerson both, when DeAndre was running to their side, DeAndre wouldn't get touched for 4 to 5 yards. And it was really cool to watch that offensive line play last night.
Definitely. They'll never get like all the credit in the world. That just comes with the
positions.
The position, it just always happens. You do the dirty work and you don't get all the praise for it. So they did good. They did great. I feel like a lot of the lanes that opened up in the run game were behind Landon Dickerson. I feel like he's a monster. I remember one play he tossed a guy down and he just sunned him, and it was fun to watch. It's fun to watch. This team can be fun to watch. They haven't been fun to watch yet, besides DeAndre Swift, but definitely some potential there. I will say this, and I don't like saying it because I don't like shitting on other players.
Are you about to rain on the parade?
No, he is miles better than Miles Sanders. Just the way that he actually hit a hole instead of dancing around and trying to go up, cut it outside, it's night and day. Like you can see it. He will bounce outside if he has to, but at the end of the day, he's
a lot faster than Miles, so he can make it to that edge.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna say I love Miles because I turned on him quick last year.
I still love Miles, but I mean, I like what Miles did for us there for a little while.
He didn't do anything in the Super Bowl. I'll tell you that much.
No. He got his ass whacked on first play and was like, "No, I'm done. I'm checking out."
Yeah. Done talking about him. I'll get mad and I'll ruin my day. Let's move on to some of the wide receiver play. Obviously, the highest topic of the day was A.J. Brown, of course. blowing up on the sidelines. I feel like that this was made out to be bigger than what it is, just because Nick Sirianni made it look uglier than what it's supposed to be. Because he went in there and like pushed, kind of shoved AJ away, and like I don't think it was that big of a deal. If you ever played sports in a competitive setting, which I hope you would, but if you anything competitively, you feel like you can make a difference, you're going to be upset if you're not given the opportunity. And AJ's good, but Devontae's also good. At some point in the season, it will even out where teams are going to stop focusing on AJ, and Devontae might get the top cornerback on the opposite team. So at some point it'll even out. I'm just unless Devontae is just going to go off this year, and for fantasy, for me, great, absolutely great. But this is definitely, I feel like, blown way out of proportion. I think that this is just like a wide receiver thing. It happens to the best of them want the ball, and I get it, and I don't blame them for it. I'd be frustrated too. Josh, what do you think about the AJ thing?
Yeah, I think it's overblown. I think, like you said, I mean, anybody who's played competitive sports, they want to contribute. They want to feel like they're, making a difference. He kind of got shut out last night. I mean, a lot of because of the way the Vikings were playing. Not necessarily our game plan or anything, but yeah, I mean, you want to see him be passionate about that. You don't want him to feel like he's not contributing and just be okay with that. You want him to want the ball. You want him to, I mean, you see on the other side, Justin Jefferson going crazy, and not Devontae Smith, obviously. So probably fires him up more. It's a big matchup, and yeah, I think it'll all be forgotten soon.
Yeah, I don't think it's jealousy. I feel like there's been some people are trying to twist it that way. AJ, Devontae, and Jalen are close. And friends fight, brothers fight. It's just happens. It happens. But obviously, maybe not during the game where everybody can see it. Take it out. Take it like go in the locker room and then do it. But like I said, not going to worry about it. Bryce, I know you had something to say.
Nah, you took the point right there. I mean, him and Jalen have had a close relationship ever since they was in high school together. So, well, they didn't go to the same school, but they've been friends ever since they were in high school. So, I mean, you get that kind of connection with a receiver and their quarterback. I mean, it's okay for them to argue like that. I mean, that's fine. They're both competitors. AJ, like y'all have both said, AJ's a huge competitor. Jalen's a huge competitor. I mean, AJ wants to contribute in any which way that he can to help this team win. And last night he didn't feel like he was able to contribute that much. I would be frustrated too. You know what I mean? So it ain't nothing to worry about. I mean, I'm pretty sure we had this same incident happen last year with AJ. AJ was frustrated at one point in one game last year, and you kind of saw it too. But I mean, it's nothing to worry about. Whoever's kind of upset about it, it's just something that comes with sports.
Yep, definitely. And when you get thrown to like a competitive environment, it's easy to just let it take over and kind of just take over how you react. There was a point I was going to make, and I'm drawing a blank now. Oh yeah, the only thing that I disliked about that whole situation, besides like, doing it on the field where there's millions and millions of cameras, is like, don't let AJ complain and then force feed him the ball, like back to back to back. Yeah, we had 2 touchdowns essentially from it. Obviously, we had the holding call against Rashad Penny, and then the non-call pass interference, which was bang bang. I'll give it to him, whatever, but it was still pass interference. But like, you can't let him change the game plan that's working. If run the ball is working, we're getting 5 yards a pop. Guess what? We need to run the ball every time, because guess how many yards you need for a first down? You need 10. 5 times 2 is 10. Boom, math. But yeah, that's the only thing I didn't like about it. I don't think it'll be an issue going forward. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens again. It probably will, but not going to make a big deal out of it. Dallas Goedert 6 for 22. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. I don't know if they're trying to take him away, which seemed like last week Bill Belichick tried to take him away, and this week the Vikings try to take away everything down the field. So maybe that's the cause of it. But anything else about offense before we move on to defense?
I'm really interested to see what Tampa Bay throws at them this next week.
If I had to guess, Todd Bowles is going to blitz. That's my guess. He blitzes about 47% of the time, it feels like. So hopefully we're prepared. Moving on.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, I think the passing issues are gonna resolve themselves eventually. I mean, we ran the ball twice as much as we threw it last night. So but last night showed you can't force us to run, because if you do, we're gonna do it. And so I think we're gonna have more open passing game for the rest of the season, hopefully. Or DeAndre Swift can just keep going off for 6 yards a pop ball game, and I'm okay with that too.
Absolutely. And what a great segue that was. The best feeling about the Eagles is this offense is talented. And so if they're playing bad or subpar and we're 2-0, and our biggest worry going into the season was defense, we're good. Because guess what? Defense, with what they were stacked up against, played really well. Reed Blankenship out. James Bradbury out. Nakobe Dean out. Vontae Maddox goes out in the second quarter. Who else? Zach
Cunningham goes out.
Yeah.
Jordan Davis went out for a little while.
Yeah. So you got all these things stacked against you. You got Nicholas Morrow, who was cut 2 weeks ago. You have Zach Cunningham, who was on the couch 5 weeks ago. You have Terrell Edmonds, who can't win the starting safety job. Now he's thrown into the spot. You got Justin Evans, who I thought wasn't going to make the team at the beginning of the year. So you got all these things, and Sean Desai is calling a great game. He called a great game, and for a while there, it was a masterclass of a performance by the defense. Let's talk about the defensive line real quick. Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. Sorry, I saw the names on my laptop and threw me off. Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter are a fantastic duo in the inside. They are great. You got Milton Williams as well, who is also fantastic at what he does, as well as the old man Fletcher Cox. Great interior D-line. Josh Sweat on the outside is fantastic. Derek Barnett is still ass. He will never be forgiven for that play that he got called out for last night, where he just completely got lost and had no idea where the ball was.
Oh Lord! I'm thinking of that thing I seen on Twitter last night.
Yeah.
Somebody quoted that underneath one of the previous play that happened with him just turning a circle, and they were like, "Good God, where's Derek Barnett going? I guess he's going to get some cigarettes."
Yeah.
That cracked me up, man. I thought that was hilarious.
It's just crazy to me, because like we'll always have a spot in our hearts for Derek Barnett, because he did recover the fumble in the Super Bowl. You can chalk that up as being in the right place at the right time, but it happened. It happened. We can't,
Quick
ahead.
question for you guys. Where the fuck has Hassan Reddick been?
That's who I was going to bring up. That's who I was actually going to bring up. I think he has, for the year, the only stat he has is 1 tackle. I think it was last week. Am I concerned about Hassan Reddick? Is going to be your next question. Guarantee it. No, I'm not. I think that maybe.
I believe last year started the same exact way for him, though.
Yeah, and then he had a game with like 3 sacks, and then they were like, "All right, here he is. Welcome to the show." I think he's gonna turn it on soon. Probably next week, maybe.
I'm pretty sure it was week 3 of last year that he started playing well.
Yeah, and like I feel like he's getting pressure. I feel like he is. I see him like bending the edge right there, but he's just not finishing it. And maybe it has something to do with his thumb. I think he's playing with a wrap, so he's probably getting used to it. But this D line's awesome. It's fun to watch. Watching that Jordan Davis sack last night, fantastic. He put, you said 3 guys, 2 guys,
3 guys,
3 guys on their ass, and then sacked Kirk Cousins. And who would have thought that Jordan Davis, who could not get in on a passing down last year, would be leading the team be like tied for the lead in sacks this year. And I know it's
Oh,
only
they actually counted that as a sack.
yeah. It counted
Oh,
it.
that's awesome, dude.
He has 1.5 this year, tied with Josh Sweat for the same amount. Yeah. So Bryce, talk to me about this D line. Tell me how much you love watching these two Georgia Bulldogs just take over games. What it feels like, and what do you expect for the future?
So I'm gonna start it off by saying, well, first of all, Chase, when I watch a football game, I'm always watching in the trenches. That's where my eyes are fixed the whole time. I've never. I'm trying to think of a player that has taken such a leap from last year to now, other than Jordan Davis. I cannot be more ecstatic on how this kid is playing right now, dude. I mean, he's unreal, bro. Like just watching the amount of pressure that he causes every time he's in the game. Dude, he is I hate to say it like this because it makes him seem like just this godlike player, but he's literally unblockable. Like you can't like he's just so big and so quick. A 6'6", 340-pound man should not be able to move like the way he moves.
Who runs very fast?
He is very quick, dude. Like the pressure, the very first pressure he had on Kirk Cousins, he was in Kirk Cousins' face like immediately. Like Kirk had nowhere that he could really go with that ball. And I got this shirt in there, dude, and I cannot be more ecstatic that by the way he's playing. And he's starting to progress as a leader too, which is I love to see that coming from young players, because it gives you like this sense of I wouldn't want to say comfort. Comfort's a weird word to use, but like when BG and Fletcher retire, you're in good hands. If that make like that you have young guys that are starting to step up and
They're
take
going
the
to take the
roles.
reins. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to take the role of the leaders of the team. And same thing with Jalen Carter. He's a rookie, but he seems like a leader in that room, a leader to the other rookies, leader to some of the guys in his room. He seems like a kid you can really count on. He didn't get a sack last night, but his tackle for loss was pretty awesome to watch. Beat two guys with a swim move and was right in Alexander Madison's face. I think his sacks will come. I'm pretty sure I read the stat before we got in here. He's up to 11 pressures already in 2 games. That's pretty impressive as a rookie. You don't see that a lot.
That's impressive as a D tackle.
Yeah. Let alone a rookie. That's very impressive coming from the D tackle position. This defensive line is going to carry us to a lot of games this year. I really feel like it. But I will say one thing. I think the reason that this team's not getting as many sacks as they can, it's coming from our back half, like our linebackers and our safeties. Like they're getting the ball out quick. So that's gonna negate a lot of sacks. If we're somehow able to figure that out with our linebackers and our safeties, there's no doubt in my mind that this team cannot have the same amount, if not more, sacks than a team last year.
Yeah, and here's the awesome part about it is Jalen Carter's 24, Jordan Davis 25, or maybe 23, 24. I can't remember. They're only going to get better, and from this point on, they're going to get better. So the performance you saw week 1, week 2, they're only going to get better from here. Jordan Davis took football seriously this offseason and shed some pounds. Which is great, because I believe he had the lazy tag coming out of college as well as Jalen Carter.
Yeah, both of them did. They had the knock on them that their motor wasn't that great and that they kind of took plays off. But man, you can't ask for much better than they're playing right now.
Yeah, and here's the best part: they're side by side. Somebody has to go. Somebody's going to draw a double team. Somebody's not, and that person that's not probably going to win it. That's awesome, and that's exciting to watch. And looking forward to seeing what happens this year.
I'll
Yeah,
give some props to Fletcher Cox too, man. He's played really well, and I really didn't expect a whole lot from Fletcher this year, but he's still in his old age, man. He's still generating pressure, and he's still drawing double teams.
he is, and I'm glad he can take a not take a back seat, um, you know, but essentially he's taking a step back a little bit. He's becoming more of like a leader in that room and letting the young guys kind of get in there and do their thing. Like I said, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, and Milton Williams are three very good young players, and
I think them three have kind of been your MVPs of this team so far.
absolutely, Milton goes. He almost goes like unseen sometimes because all the attention is on Jordan Davis and Jalen
Yeah.
Carter.
And if
And
you like go and break down his game tape from these previous two games, dude, he is wreaking havoc himself. Like when he comes in the game,
yes,
it's very good to see.
the last thing I'll say before I pass on over to Josh is, it is very nice to see Jordan Davis step up and play the way he has, especially because coming off last year, some people were probably pretty low on him. Going into this year after watching
Never
most of
lost
the
my
films.
faith in that man, baby.
Yeah, I
Never
did.
lost my faith.
I'll admit it, I did. But I also had reasonable expectations. So I'm not going to say I lost my faith. I just kind of, he's playing above expectation for me. But like even the preseason, he didn't do anything crazy. Even those couple plays that him and Jalen Carter were in there together, it was Jalen Carter doing all the fancy stuff. But it's nice. It's nice seeing Jordan Davis become like a pass rusher. So Josh, I know me and Bryce have talked about this D line for about the past 5 minutes. What's your opinion on this D line? Do you think that this set of guys could carry us to wins this year, or are we just kind of overreacting the first 2 weeks?
No, you're definitely not overreacting. I think, especially, I'm glad you guys did include Milton Williams there, but especially Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, not only have the potential to carry us to wins this year, but I mean, I can't wait to watch them the next 10 years, see how good these two get together. Um, I think we're just super lucky as Eagles fans to have this duo at defensive tackle. Just checked, they're 22 and 23, so they are very young.
My
Where's my
God,
math
man.
at? Thank you for checking that.
Yeah. But and Jordan Davis especially. I mean, I was very high on him coming out of Georgia, and I know the big knock against him was that he wasn't a like a 3-down player. Partially, I think, due to the fact that he wasn't known as a pass rusher, and also just his stamina wasn't up for it.
Josh, I got a quick question to throw in there for you.
Yeah.
Do you think possibly like when you have players coming out of college like that, that
Mhm.
their questions are that they're not going to be a great pass rusher in the NFL? Do you think possibly that might be a schematic thing in college? Like they're just running the wrong schemes and they're asking them to do stuff that they have the potential to do. They're just not asking him to do that, which I could see it coming from Jordan Davis because I mean he's a big dude. You're not going to expect him to rush the passer, but clearly he has the athletic ability to do it.
Yeah, it can definitely be a scheme thing. I think, especially at a school like Georgia, where you have like so much talent on defense, you don't need him to do anything extra. So you just want him to play his role. That could definitely be a big factor. But like you said, also Chase, him taking this offseason to really take football seriously and shed some weight so that he does, improve that stamina, make him even more mobile, and just be able to play more and play better. I think goes a long way. Yeah, just the future is bright at defensive tackle, and I think it's definitely gonna carry us to some wins this year.
Shout out Howie. Shout out to the teams that pass on Jalen Carter for sure. Two things to
Yeah.
really wrap it up. One, Amazon, big FU for talking about the Jalen
Yeah,
Carter
what
thing.
the hell was that about?
That's weird. That's really, really weird. To like leave it alone. Like, I mean, I get it.
Dude, whoever said that, whatever female reporter was the one that was talking about that, get Amazon, get her ass out of here, bro. Like you're throwing this man's Like you're just throwing stuff that he don't even want to think about in front of 20 million people, bro. What are you talking about? This is a football game. This ain't court.
Yeah.
I don't know what is this.
Yeah, it's just weird to me. Like obviously at some point, you have to kind of face, what happened, but it's like there was no reason for it. Like just talk about it, I guess, before a game, talk about it after the game, But why are we talking about it in the middle of the game for?
For some reason, it's like I understand it through the draft process. You could talk about it because it's happened with everybody. Like everybody who's had anything going in the draft process. Joe Mixon had it when he had that assault thing at Oklahoma. Jeffrey Simmons had it when he was at Michigan State or Mississippi State. He got talked about bad. Guess what? Both those players are really good players in the NFL. I understand you can talk about it in the draft process, but holy shit, man. I mean, this kid's a rookie and he's trying to make his way in this league. Everybody makes mistakes, dude. We get it. And this whole, no, I ain't gonna get into that because I think because his thing is weird. It's weird to me. Like he wasn't even in the vehicle. You know what I mean? Like I I don't I don't understand it.
Yeah,
But
so I want to put this disclaimer out there. We obviously know that, you know, the things that happen, they're bad. They're really bad. You know, it happens. I don't want to say it happens because I feel like I'm excusing it. I'm not excusing it, but there's a time and place to talk about these things, and maybe not talk about it.
Thursday night football in front of 20 million people is not one of the places to talk about it.
Exactly. You don't have to bring it up. And so like, he played no contest, so I guess whatever. We're not going to get in the legal system. Screw that. The last thing I'd say was Georgia rotates their, because you got to talking about like scheme and whatnot. Georgia rotates their D line like constantly, so not really one player gets to shine. You see like bits and pieces of them. Obviously, they shined enough to get picked in the first round, but most of that is like athleticism and like combine scores, Because I don't think Jordan Davis would have went that crazy high if he didn't run that 40 the way he ran that 40.
Can't remember what he ran. What did he run?
It was like
4.6, 4.6.
4.6. 4.6 as a big man like that. That's crazy. If I saw that big man running towards me at 4.6 speed, I'd run away. I couldn't run away.
Oh, shit my pants.
Yeah. Speaking of shitting pants, actually has nothing to do with our next topic, but the linebackers. I just want to say this real quick.
Go ahead and give him your flowers since you kind of shit on him.
Which one? Nicholas Morrow? I love Nicholas Morrow, man. The switch up is really crazy because I love him. I hope he stays around. He was very solid last night. He was. I don't think he got exposed in like pass coverage or anything like that. I feel like he was a decent pass coverage linebacker anyway. I felt like he was all over the field. If he didn't get the tackle, he was there. He clogged up lanes in the run game.
And he had the green dot last night.
He had the green dot, and he played a lot more than I thought he would. Because there was talk about rotating him and Christian Ellison, and I'm glad that they didn't do it because Nicholas Morrow had a heck of a game given the circumstances. Zach Cunningham led the team in tackles with 8. Zach was everywhere too. He was everywhere. He definitely everywhere. He improved on his pass coverage from last week. Last week, it seemed like he didn't trust his teammates around him, and because he wouldn't pass off a receiver or he followed a receiver too long, which opened up end zone coverage. He would follow the receiver a little bit too long and open up another receiver. So he was passing off receivers last night and following them because he defended Justin Jefferson last night. You see that?
I did see that.
I mean, I know Fletcher Cox got his arm on Kirk Cousins' shoulder, but hey, who cares? He was the reason why that was incomplete. So my props to Zach Cunningham and Nicholas.
Shout out Howie, good signing.
Yeah,
right now at least.
Yeah, for this week, great signing. To be determined for the future. But like I said at the beginning of talking about the defense is. They were ready to play, and the circumstances were not pretty with Reed being out, N'Kobe being out, James Bradbury being out, you have players who like Josh Jobe, who we'll get to in a second. He has first start in the NFL. Sidney Brown, who hasn't touched defense really. He had to play some defensive snaps. Justin Evans, who, like I said, was who we thought would make the team once he got signed. He's making plays. I'm not saying he's good, but he's making plays. So but this linebacker group had a very solid performance after a shaky first game, and going forward, do I feel more confident? I have to, because they showed me something. So Bryce, time for you to talk about this linebacking group. What do you think about last night?
So I'm gonna hit on Zach Cunningham for a little bit. I knew when we first signed him and Miles Jack, Eagles legend, by the way.
Absolutely.
We signed him. A lot of people on Twitter were very high on Miles Jack. They were like, because he's the more common name, I guess, to the people who just scratch the surface with the NFL, don't watch it
because
deeply.
the Jaguars and that,
Yeah,
he's part of that very good defense.
yeah. So Zach Cunningham has had a way more consistent year. I mean, way more consistent career in the NFL than Miles Jack has. Zach Cunningham, to me, when he was in Houston, I wanted the Eagles to draft him when he was coming out of college. He was a really good player. Led the league in tackles for Houston a couple times, or at least once I know of. But I just didn't think there was a way for him to be on the street, if that made sense. There's no way that there's other linebackers on teams that are just completely just way better than Zach Cunningham. And he's looked really good, I think. Like you said, he kind of looked lost first week, but I don't necessarily think that's on him. He's dealing with a new scheme that he's just started. He's been here 5 weeks? You said
5 weeks.
Yeah, he wasn't here the whole training camp. He wasn't here in OTAs, training camp, nothing like that. So I mean, give him time to settle in. He impressed me last night, man. I think our linebackers were very relentless to the football last night. Zach and Nicholas Morrow both. They both looked really good last night, I thought. I'm kind of curious to see what they do with Christian Ellis when Nakobe Dean comes back. If Nicholas Morrow continues to play the way he has lately. I'm sure. I don't think they'll put him on the practice squad. They'll probably keep him around, moving to special teams.
Yeah, they'll probably keep 4 and just move Christian Ellis to just straight up special teams.
Yeah. But no, overall, I think they looked good last night, man. They looked good, but the biggest thing from them, they didn't make mistakes. That's they didn't look bad and look clueless out there. That's the takeaway from it.
Yeah, definitely. They allowed linebackers obviously play a very pivotal role in run defense, because obviously there are going to be times the running back gets that second level, and guess who's there? The linebackers. So they allowed, I can't remember, 72 yards first week, and then 28 this week. Obviously, it's not all on the linebackers for those small totals. Defensive line definitely has a lot to do with it, but the linebackers didn't let them break off any huge runs. Alexander Madison's longest run was 7 yards.
I don't think he's a good player, by the way.
Alexander Madison, we'll say that for another day. But I think he's okay. But yeah, Josh, I know that I'm excited about the linebackers. Are you still kind of excited going forward now that we've seen some type of positivity coming from this group, or are you still kind of worried?
I'm not as worried as I was. I'd say they definitely put me at ease over the last couple of weeks. I don't think they're going to win us any games, but like to see last night, I don't think they're going to cost us any games if they keep playing that way. I mean, they played solid. Like Bryce said, they didn't really make mistakes, which is really the most you can ask for them. You're not asking them to be superstars. They just want them to, play their role, play solid, minimize the mistakes, and let let our bigger name players and such do their jobs. So, at this point, I don't know. I'm comfortable with who we have. I don't think we need to make any moves at linebacker. Which coming into the season I wasn't sure about, but yeah, I'm optimistic.
There we go. You heard it here first. Yeah, like I said, I call me a fan of Nicholas Morrow until he makes me mad next week. Call me a fan. I like the guy. Nice little story because, like I said, he was on the practice squad. We cut him. He didn't sign until late, and now he's back. And so if he can have a great year, I'm happy. Moving on, go to the secondary. Before we get to actually talk about the secondary, I want to talk about this. A lot of chatter going on in the NFL world about the touchback rule. I know that it benefited us last night, but I don't hate the rule. I don't hate it. I feel like you have to punish the offense at some point if the ball goes out of bounds. Football is the only sport where if the ball goes out of bounds, the offense doesn't get punished for it; they get rewarded. So I offered this in our fantasy football group chat earlier, a solution, and I feel like this solution would benefit the NFL as far as quality product on the TV and viewership. If the ball goes out of bounds, it's a free for all. 53 men fighting for the ball. Whoever gets it back in bounds keeps it. If you
a fucking full on rugby scrum on a sideline.
You can take off a helmet and use it as a weapon if you want, but just know somebody could punch you in the mouth. So, just full on WWE, all out, just Stone Cold stunners handed out left and right. Couple RKOs out of nowhere, swanton bombs coming from the fans. I don't care. little hectic, but I don't hate it. I don't hate that rule. I think that it sucks. Let me tell you, it does suck because somebody made a point on Twitter that if he fumbled it 6 inches this way, they get the ball at the 1 yard line. But since he fumbled it this way, the touchback. Bryce, I'm actually curious how you view the rule.
I've never viewed the rule as a problem, really. I can understand where people come from, like with them having an issue about it, but like you said, man, if the offense makes mistakes, somebody's gotta be punished for it. Like, I don't know. I've always grown up with the touchback rule being in effect. Yeah. So it's just hard for me to see it changing. I don't think it will. I remember the one game that I remember specifically that it had like a big outcome to it was like the Lions and Seahawks game when Calvin Johnson fumbled the ball in the end zone and went out the back. I remember that game having pretty sure it ended because of that. But
wait, is that the one where he poked out like this?
Something like that. Like Cam Chancellor came behind him and like knocked the ball out and it rolled out the back of the end zone. But I don't know, man. I've grown up with the touchback rule. I don't, like you said, I don't see a way of them like changing it.
There's not a solution.
Yeah,
at all.
There's nothing you can do to fix it, really. But besides just giving the ball back to the offense, I don't know. I guess you could say if you fumble it through the end zone, fuck it. Offense gets the ball back at like 25-yard line or something. But
nah,
that's just stupid. That's just weird.
Yeah, and you bring up a great point, and that's what I was thinking about. Is that rule's been around since I can remember. So like,
it's not like it's new.
Yeah, if the roles were reversed, I've been saying there's no fucking way you could prove that ball was fumbled. Like, what was it, over the pylon? Yeah, like you can't prove that. Like, what are you talking about? Even though they definitely could. I'd be more mad about that, but I would expect that outcome. So like, I wasn't mad about it. I didn't care.
Yeah.
So, Josh, you got anything you want to add about that rule? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you want to implement the WWE rule that I just kind of proposed?
Yeah, it's a weird rule. I don't know like what the best solution really is. WWE rule would be pretty fun. I think that would add an interesting wrinkle. Or maybe even just like, put the ball at midfield. Each team sends out one player and line up and like 3, 2, 1, go, and they both go for it. But
I'm sending out Jordan Davis
yeah, Jordan Davis
every time.
Maybe my Lotta once in a while. I'll mix it up.
Yeah.
But so that'd be fun. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what the solution really is, and since the current rule's been around so long, I'm just kind of used to it. So it's weird, but it is what it is.
Well, I don't know if you guys knew this, but since it happened, Twitter informed me that years ago, if the offense fumbled the ball out of bounds, the defense got the ball. And I tell you what, I like that. I like that a lot, actually, because at some point you got to punish the offense for letting go of that ball. But there's a big play in the game, like a turning point, actually, because that would have been 7. I'm not going to lie to you, that would have been 7. And Terrell Edmonds got the tackle. He got the forced fumble, which he didn't force anything at all. But yeah, overall, the secondary last night was solid. I feel like, given the circumstances, Mario Goodrich was ass, but
yeah, Eli Ricks needs to try to make an appearance on the slide. I doubt it ever happens, but I don't know. Maybe. Mario Goodrich did not look good.
Yeah. Let's see. Darius Slay. I know Justin Jefferson put up 11 for 159, but I feel like Darius Slay didn't get killed. I feel like that was just a great battle. I feel like Darius Slay won some, he lost some. That's what you're going to get whenever it's 2 elite talents going up back and forth. And a lot of some of his catches were like whenever the Eagles were in zone. So it wasn't just strictly Darius Slay's matchup. Who else had a game? Avonte Maddox, like I said, is out for the year with a torn pec. Who could have saw it coming? Me. But I hope it gets better. I don't wish ill will towards anybody. It's frustrating because Avonte Maddox is very talented at what he does, and to see him consistently get hurt every single year is frustrating. And like I said, I hate it because it's not something he can control, but like as a fan, it's so frustrating.
Isaiah Rodgers season next year, baby.
Has to be. Stay off of FanDuel, baby. Let's see. Who else we got to talk about? Justin Evans made a couple plays. Didn't look too terrible. I wish he would take off them damn sleeves, man. Them Sam Bradford sleeves that he's wearing are awful. They're garbage, and I wish he would stop. That eagle does fly in the wind, though, whenever he gets to running and the sleeves start flapping. So he has that going for him.
He had a forced fumble last night. I give him that.
Had a forced fumble. Sure did. What else?
Josh Joby. Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot about him. Overall, I feel like he had a solid game. I think
that touchdown was not on him.
I don't think.
I think that was a really good play by Kirk Cousins.
I think that was Terrell Edmonds in coverage.
Justin Evans.
It was. Are you sure about that? Because I'm pretty sure.
100% positive. He looked Justin Evans off with his eyes and just kind of.
I retract my statement. Then Justin Evans fucked up in pass coverage. Surprise. But yeah, he was definitely expecting some safety help because he definitely just gave up the inside. He had outside leverage and just kind of, was like, hey, where you at? But even though he didn't have safety help, he had the opportunity to make the tackle. He did not make the tackle. So that is a negative that I'm going to give him for that specific play. Other than that, they're relatively quiet. So can't say that's a bad thing, pretty good. Let's see. Anybody else I can think of? Am I missing somebody? Sidney Brown got in. Tried to kill TJ Hawkinson. Didn't do it, but he did. He tried. But yeah, that's pretty much what I got. Bryce.
Just the Josh Jobe thing. I remember that KJ Osborne touchdown where he's just wide open. Looked like a little miscommunication there, but I don't know. They'll get it fixed. But other than that, I don't know. Special teams. Hey, Jake Elliott, you're the fucking GOAT, dude. That was incredible, bro.
Did you just transition to another squad?
Yeah, I did. You said anything else? I can't think of anything else.
Hey, we got 3 people here.
Well, hey, Let it fly.
Pass the talking stick, Josh.
Yeah, I think you guys put it well. Josh Job, is it Job or Joby? I don't know.
Job.
I think it's Joe.
It's Job. Josh
Yeah.
Job. Yeah, I mean the Addison touchdown didn't look great, but like you guys said, I don't think that was on him. He was expecting safety help over the top or on the inside. But he did miss the tackle there, so that is still on him at the end of the day. But he was an undrafted rookie last year, so I mean, it's not, you can't expect too much out of him, and also not expecting to be the starter coming into the year. Bradbury will be back, and
I think he played really well though, for what
Yeah.
he had to do.
for what he had to do and for his experience and everything, really couldn't realistically ask more of him or expect more of him. And about Justin Jefferson, I mean, I think he definitely like wanted to make a point to play a lot better than he did in the last matchup against Darius Slay. So it's nice that we were able to keep him out of the end zone, and I think it was a good battle. He had 11 catches for like 150 something yards,
Yeah, 152, I believe.
So not ideal, but I mean, he's arguably the top receiver in the league. If he's not, then he's top 3. And so, yeah, I mean, and he had a point to prove. So,
yeah. Last thing before we move on to special teams, because at the end of the day, I'm the host here. I control when and where we talk about. So Justin Jefferson, I feel bad for him because he has like almost 300 yards in 2 games and no touchdowns and not a win to show for it. Kind of sad. I kind of like him. Because he kind of showed me something last night where he was just like, "Hey, it's on me," and he was like, he's kind of being a leader, and that's awesome. That's awesome to watch, and good for him. I hope he has a good year, because I have him fantasy first and foremost, and I have Kirk as well, but whatever. Secondly, we have 10 days to get it right on defense because with Avonte Maddox out, the question is slot corner. During the training camp, James Bradbury did, take a lot of snaps in the slot. And so that would put Josh Job on the outside. And so we don't know what's going to happen. There has to be a move that's made, whether it's a safety or a cornerback, soon. Definitely before we start playing the Dolphins and the Bills and the 49ers. Fuck the 49ers, and the Cowboys, and probably even the Commanders, to be honest with you, because they have wide receivers. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Be interesting to see what we come up with, because we lost Josiah Scott. Don't care. And then Zach McPherson was the backup slot. He's gone as well due to injury. So let's move on to special teams, and then we can wrap this thing up and get up on out of here. Special teams. Let's start with Jake Elliott. Jake Elliott's 2 for 3, missed a 54-yarder, I think, 50 something like that.
55, yeah.
55. Not a chip shot. Definitely a tough kick. But we kind of expect Jake to make them. Wasn't mad at him though, because he immediately followed it up with a 61-yard field goal right before the half ended. And immediately I thought about the Giants game. It was great. It's great. I feel like Jake could have made it from like 65, 66. I don't think Amazon had the little thing on the bottom that said would make from like this amount of yards. I don't think they had it for that kick. Made me mad. But Jake Elliott was great. Aaron Sipos, it's bad. Still wish we'd have a different punter. We have 10 days still. I cannot emphasize this enough. We have 10 days to fix our problems. And punter is a problem. Last but not least, and then I'll stop talking. Britton Covey, the hate train is back, baby. Fumble the ball. Get him out of here. He was okay last year towards the end. But man, you have one thing you're good at, and that is keeping the ball safe, and he just coughed it up. So not good. Bryce, special teams is a big part of the game, yet we talk about it so little. Give me your takeaway from last night's game.
Sipos is just, he's not it, man. That's my biggest thing. Like you said, Britton Covey hate trains back. Britain, you suck. Somebody out there in the world, please come return punts for the Eagles. Who is very competent of doing that. Somebody. I don't know, Jake Elliott. That was pretty impressive last night. Kind of had the thing in our fantasy football group chat. Not going to name any names. Somebody wanted to talk shit about Jake Elliott after the missed 50-yarder and came up for that. Chase immediately texted me. He said, "I'm about to light somebody, about to light so and so's ass up if Jake makes this kick." And as soon as Jake kicked it off his foot, I was like, I immediately went to the group. Yeah, immediately went to the group chat, and it was a full-on onslaught from there. But Jake, he's an elite kicker in this league, man. Very, very elite. That's all I really got to say about special teams.
All right, Josh, take us away.
Yeah, Sit Boss sucks. Jake Elliott is the GOAT. That's all I got.
Thank you. Short and sweet, to the point. So to wrap up this episode of the Linc Lineup, this is a weird week for us because, we couldn't do a preview show really because we had the review show and we play on Thursday. So this is a review show instead of a preview show where we make the picks for all the games. So this week, I'm not going to do that this week. We're just going to take a bye week for this this week. So next week, the schedule is still gonna be funky, and it's only for these 2 weeks. So next week we are going to record on Monday to do a preview show, and we'll probably release that Thursday or Friday of next week. And then we will probably have to do a preview and review show at the same time for the following week, because me and Bryce will be in Tampa for the game, and we just won't be. We're not going to record because we're on vacation. At least I am, and I don't record with my sweetheart there, and have her be upset. So I'm not going to do that to myself.
News.
Oh yeah, Rashawn Evans is no longer on the practice squad, and Trey Sermon is waived.
Away from injury reserve.
Yep. So breaking news there, I guess if you want to call it that. So yeah, we'll do a preview review show and release that Saturday. Bryce is gone. I don't know where he went, but he's gone. Didn't say goodbye or anything. So yeah, that is the show. What a time! Glad his laptop shut off. So what a time for that to happen. So for the last 10 seconds of this episode, we are going to say goodbye. Thank you for watching as always. If you like us and you want to give us a nice little rating on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is, do that. Tell us you love us. I'll even read it out on the show to make you feel like made a difference in our lives, which you did if you do that. If you're watching on YouTube and you see our faces, please like, comment, and subscribe. That's pretty much it. We'd like that. We'd appreciate that. Like I said, thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, go Birds.
Go Birds.